51 is a pickle.
What's that?
Oh, County Road 51. Podland.
Oh, yeah.
We're on the clock, everyone, so I will call this meeting to order of the DeKalb County Commissioners, and the date is April 10th, 2023. Mic's on, everyone, and off we go. What you got today, Dottie?
Well, good morning. We have, we'll talk a little bit about recruiting. The Sheriff's Department hasn't changed since last week, where they still have 2 in the pipeline. They're hoping for May to start with those for road deputies. And then the jail still has a couple positions also, so much better than last year, the reports that I gave you guys. But we still have our postings out there for confinement officers. That's, I wouldn't call it the revolving door, but that's, you know, kind of the entry level, and we want to keep that open because I just don't know when people will turn in their resignations. So
The 2 that's was in the paper, are those before these 2
Yes.
that's coming? Mm-hmm. Okay.
yes, they are. Let's see, they actually started, I think, 2 weeks ago. Yep, 2 weeks ago. Health Department, last week we thought we had an interview set for Wednesday, and that person got back to us to say, no, they just couldn't take the job from their job at Parkview. Mm-hmm. So it was about money, and, you know, I was preaching to the choir when Cheryl and I were talking about, but, you know, you have to talk about the benefits of working for the county and the great office and the hours and less stress than the hospital. Anyway, so, we'll just keep it out there. Cheryl continues to have a positive attitude, and I only received 1 resume over the weekend. However, this is the 2nd resume that I have received from probably a Nigerian prince that probably just wants our. No, I'm just kidding. But it is it was a resume from somebody from Nigeria, and we're not equipped really to sponsor anyone to come over and work for us yet. You know, push comes to shove, we may be thinking about some sort of, H1 or H2B visa, whatever. So Cheryl hasn't given me the go-ahead on that yet. So she's keeping that positive attitude that there's a nurse out there who wants to leave the rat race and come work for them. Community Corrections still has an opening in residential, but they have received quite a few resumes on that. Change has had a couple, well, actually more than a couple, interviews scheduled for, one of their juvenile facilitators. One had there was a cancellation. They've had no shows. There was another one where the judges wouldn't have appreciated the person's background, so they're still looking for that residential, juvenile facilitator, not residential. Highway Department, we continue to keep that posting out and about. We had 1 response over the weekend. Hopefully they actually stop at the Highway Department and pick up an application packet. The Auditor's Office has a clerk position open, and we closed the receiving resumes on Thursday. So Susan has her work cut out for her in looking over all those resumes that she received. And the assessor has a clerk opening also. One of her people, a part-timer, has given her notice. And so that means that she has an opening. So she is looking, and well, she's gotten quite a few resumes. I would say about half of them have had kind of the qualifications that she would be looking for. So that's what we have for openings and what we're doing recruiting-wise. The YMCA has informed us of a price increase to their membership fees, and we currently allow we have a relationship with the YMCA here in town that our employees can join the Y. The fee to join is waived, and then the monthly fee can be deducted from the employees' paychecks. And so now a family membership monthly will be $51, and for a single adult, it will be $36. So I am asking you to...
51 or 41?
It's 51 for family.
51 and 36?
And 36. Mm-hmm. Yep. And, you know, as I tell people, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You know, for most individuals who want a membership at the YMCA, it's this huge hunk of money, and so we allow them to take it a little bit at a time, and so it seems to be working out really well. We have a lot of our employees on it. As a matter of fact, last year we received an award for percentage of employees and number of memberships. So we have so we were one of their top employers. So that was great. You know, it's a full service in addition to the educational opportunities, also the physical fitness part. Looks like Rick has a comment.
I do. Having just left the board of the Y, that is still the least expensive membership in the Northeast Indiana area. And the change that they made a number of years ago, first of all, that membership gets you into any Y in Indiana, and that has recently been expanded to any Y in the
Reciprocity.
United States. So it's not just the local Y anymore, and they have hit a record number of members out here. So we are still the premier Y in the area.
Great facilities out there, and we have a lot of employees who are availing themselves of that opportunity. But we do have to renew our memo of understanding with them. So what we're asking is for you to sign that, and we will get back to the Y. We will have the Y sign that, and then we'll have that on file. There is that. Jack informs me that he is working.
Wait.
What?
Before you move forward,
Do we need a? Okay.
have them do it.
Yeah, let's go ahead
A
and do that.
motion for
Move to have the president sign the MOU with the DeKalb County YMCA.
Second that?
A motion and a second on the floor. Are there any additional comments?
I've reviewed it, don't have any problem with it.
Thank you. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Passes 3-0.
Great. Yay. Anyway, security at the 9th Street Annex. Jack updated me. He is hoping to have figures regarding the changing the access to being with our ID badges and also cameras, things like that. So he's hoping to have information to us next month. So that'll be great. Last week, we had a department heads meeting, and Jack had a long list of things that the IT department is working on. And they will be, having one of their members retire in June. So we are working on that whole process, getting them so that we don't have a lag in any of the services that they, offer to us. So then, we just kind of went around the room with all of the department heads who were there, and everybody gave a little bit of a report what was happening in their departments. And it's always good to catch up on what's happening. The newsletter that we have coming out that's just going to be some of our years of service and kind of spotlight on departments and things like that. We're hoping to get that out in probably a week or so. And Lindsay from HR and Brenda from the Extension Office are working on that one because they both have a lot of graphics skills, and so they're putting together this probably it's going to be a couple pages, I think. We'll do it electronically. We'll also have it stored on the intranet site. So that's coming along. The Job Classification Subcommittee met last week, and we talked about, I will tell you that all of the recommendations passed unanimously with them. We had, back to information systems, the help desk administrator will be changing to application support analyst, and that is Carolyn, that position. And just so many things have changed with that position since the job description was created back in 2018, really 2019. And so it more readily reflects what that position does. And then our maintenance associate that you guys approved and that council also approved, that will be recommended to the full council tomorrow to approve that. And Larry is very excited about getting that process done so that he can work on getting the person he has set up so that we can make them a full-time employee with the county. The community corrections had the juvenile education coordinator. We had, and then also a facilitator. We had a couple things that we wanted to change education-wise, and the facilitator is the one that required 30 hours of college credit. And when the job description had originally been created, that was the requirement for a substitute teacher. And those requirements have changed, and so now the job description reflects that better. There really wasn't any classification change, but with the coordinator, that is the person who deals with all the schools and does the grades and really coordinates. That did need to be updated because that person has to be a certified teacher. And so they made some changes, and there was because they're on a grant cycle, they're taking care of that internally starting July 1. And then the residential services facilitators, we changed from facilitators to officers. That really didn't change the classification, it didn't change the wages, it was just a title change. And so that's being approved for community corrections. And then the sheriff's office, the office administrator, IDAX coordinator, the new sheriff and the person who has that position right now worked on the position, on the job description. It was a job description that I wasn't happy with when it was originally done. I just didn't reflect, I didn't think it reflected what the person did because of all the interaction that HR has with that position. Now I think it's a lot better. So that one is also going to be recommended to change from a COMOT C to a PAT B So the classifications, the COMAT is more the clerical, the PAT is more of a professional. And so they have the money internally in that department to make that change for wages also. The position is going to stay hourly because of all the hands-on actual duties as opposed to being moved to a salaried exempt position. There's just still a lot of the day-to-day running of the office, actually doing things as opposed to executive decisions and delegating other people to do that. That may come down the road, so we'll see. The last item on their agenda was the question or the topic that Todd had brought up several months ago about paying out PTO at anniversary before the next allotment of PTO, and after a really detailed spreadsheet that Susan worked on, and the information was discussed with the Job Classification Subcommittee. They are going to recommend to the full council that that we keep with the current PTO policy, and that that not be paid out. That we stay with being able to carry over up to 10 days. But that will be discussed a little bit tomorrow.
They wanted to, we had what, 3 departments?
Yeah, yeah.
And
Heads who were there.
they feel that, because they listened to the meeting when the 2 of the sheriff's department, they didn't feel that they got anything special, but they do feel that there are certain situations like that one that would be something that you guys may want to allow us to pay the PTO out because of that strange situation, but not just a all the time payout. But none of them, and they said they know that the commissioners felt that maybe you were setting a precedent and stuff, but they didn't feel that way. They knew that it was a very different situation and that they agree they should have gotten that paid out. But a yearly, all the time payout thing they don't think is a good idea or really a problem at this point. It's just for those odd circumstances.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Are there a lot of people that are there a lot of employees that are not using their PTO when they earn it?
According to the department heads who were there, no.
Okay.
And you're allowed to carry over 10 days.
10 days. Oh, that's
10
a lot
days.
of.
It's very generous, yes. I checked with my HR network and, hey, anybody have this policy?
Right.
And, it kind of runs the whole gamut, but 10 days is really generous with the counties and cities, so.
It doesn't seem to be causing any problems with
Not
the legal
really.
system on that, so.
Yep, and like Susan mentioned, most of our employees are able to take their PTO, and they kind of hold that extra 10 back to the very end, and, it's a nice cushion. Even though we have short-term disability that the county pays for, so that if an employee would be off work due to an illness of their own, it's, they still feel that it's a little something maybe to get them through until the short-term disability would kick in. So that kind of works out well. Something that's not even on the Job Classification Subcommittee's agenda yet is in the surveyor's office. They are waiting for the lead surveying tech position. I and Glenn Crawford had talked several weeks back about making some changes from that first deputy job description that department has to making it lead surveying tech, whatever. And I haven't gotten the information back from him. There are a lot of things that he has to put together. So I'm still waiting on that. I know that he would like that person to start probably in June. So last week, I tried to put a little push on that, because if I take a look at what, June will be here before we know it,
How would that change the salary of that position? Or would it be an hourly position at that point?
It would either be an hourly, more than likely it would be a salaried position, because this person would be doing some hands-on, but would be more delegating and organizing and doing a lot of executive decisions. From what I can gather, it would be. However, because it would not be the first deputy to the elected official, they wouldn't be tied to that 80% of the elected official's salary. So that was always something that Mike and I had talked about, and it just never really, came to fruition. So that does open it up from going from special occupations. I would see it going into maybe that professional, the PAT, maybe even PATC, which would be a fairly high classification. But of course, that would be a Wagner, Irwin, and Shealy decision to make on that. But that would just be that's just my thought,
Yeah.
you know.
I think we have to do something in that direction. Either that or surveyor needs to be a full-time job with full-time pay. Right now, it's a part-time job, and it's actually part-time pay. I mean, to get a qualified surveyor, we'd have to pay a lot more.
Licensed surveyor, yeah.
Yeah. So this might fill that gap. Clean
I don't
this
know where
up.
you're gonna get an engineer to work for 50,000 a year. I mean, you're right, we have to do something.
Yeah, comments?
Well, just a couple of things. Number one, I was, when we went to replace Mike, I was very surprised to find out that very few surveyors in Indiana are licensed surveyors.
Surveyors.
It's just the majority are not licensed. They're engineers, they have other professions, but it was just a real surprise to me. But a couple of comments that I got over the weekend about how much more work has been done already this year than has been done in previous years. And the farmers and that I was talking to are very, very happy with what Glenn's been doing. So that's going very well, thankfully.
And I think it will just continue to increase and improve, especially when they get this other position filled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Glenn gets a little more acquainted with the job and the stipulations that go with it. So, yeah.
Exactly. And now if I can jump in as another topic here real quick, because I know you've got something at 9 o'clock, where Dottie is concerned, where you're concerned. Tomorrow's council meeting, we are going to start our move towards doing the budget for '24. While we will certainly not be doing another job survey or job classification study, there are certain departments and certain jobs that need to be addressed. And the nursing position is number one. I mean, unfortunately for nurses, I just see absolutely no way that we can compete with healthcare, the hospitals and the healthcare institutions. But it is one that's going to have to be taken a serious look at to make sure that Cheryl can get somebody to fill that job. I was not aware of the fact that we had an issue in the highway department. So if there is an issue with the highway department, we'll need to know that as we move forward towards, I'm not sure, I think probably tomorrow we're going to recommend a certain percentage that we can work with for the '24 budget. But there are some of these jobs that we're really going to have to do some investigation on and see what we can do to fix them. And at this point, it's all up in the air. But if we could have direction from the commissioners about what those particular jobs are, that would be of help to us. Because we'll be doing some of the research, Dottie will be doing some of the research. We'll get as much as we can from AIC and see what we can do to correct these. And I think we're going to probably have to maybe contact the Hospital Association puts out a yearly report as to what jobs in the hospitals are paying across the state. we'll probably have to try to see if we can't find that study, if they'll let us share that information to help fix this issue. Because otherwise, I have a feeling that, you're just going to have more and more struggle to fill these positions, and people are going to leave, and you're just not going to be able to, get new people in. So, but anyway, that would be of help to us if the commissioners could make a recommendation as to what jobs we need to concentrate on for next year. Okay. Thanks.
One that I might suggest is information systems. You take a look at the wages of our information systems department and the wages that are offered in private sector. And that is truly where we are competing.
I think another thing that needs to be mentioned is the inflation squeeze on these wage earners. That inflation has crowded us into a situation where it's hard to keep up with that inflation rate. And it's put us in a position where we're not keeping up. We're already a little behind, but this has just made the situation that much worse. They don't feel they can take a job when everything else is going, a job that doesn't pay what they need to have pay. It doesn't matter how nice the job is, how good the environment is, they need that money to keep up with inflation. And that's what I'm sure I would be looking at for sure.
Absolutely.
Just a small comment. We just spoke about this, but I have an 18-year-old that is in her sophomore year up in Holland, Michigan, and she's making $24 an hour starting out. She has her CNA license, and that is it. And that's through Parkview, so that's where she gets paid through here. If that gives us any type of comparison to these RNs that we're trying to get through the health department. And up in Holland, they've offered $28 to CNAs if they stay there, and that's not even for somebody with a registered nursing license. So just some comparison, just for thought.
Okay.
Well, and of course, Parkview. That's what we are dealing with here in Northeast Indiana. If that position were in, Podunk, someplace else, Indiana, I probably would be able to fill. That's my guess, is I'd be able to fill that nurse's position. But we're dealing with,
Hear the same thing, clear up and down the state, all the other counties.
Nurses are a commodity, and they're,
Yeah.
So anyway, that is what I have really on my list.
Okay. Anyone for Dottie?
On the nurses, though, the traveling nurses is a big
Oh,
thing now. to where
brother,
They just
yeah.
break the bank. I mean, especially if you're single and younger.
$4 or $5 grand a week.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
and plus a free house a lot of times. You just,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be in Miami for a week, and then I'm going to Chicago, and then I'm going, I don't blame them.
That's,
A couple $100,000 a year, go do it.
make hay while the sun shines,
Yeah.
as they say.
That's
Yeah.
right. Okay.
All righty.
Thank you, Dottie.
Thanks, Dottie.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Enjoy the sunshine. Okay, let's jump over into minutes real quick.
I will move to approve those minutes.
Second?
Comments, and I do have one. The State Road 327 bypass is not correct. There is no, it starts out with County Road 25, there is no County Road 25. It's
Oh.
on Ben Parker's. You find it?
It's a new road we just put in.
Yeah, we just,
Yeah.
One of those.
that'd have to go straight out of the south end of Ashley between 19 and 20, or 20, 23 and 27. And also, you find it? No. Actually, it should read State Road 8 to County Road 15, and then County Road 8. Is State Road 4. State Road 4 to County Road 15, then to County Road 8. Ben had it. Ben had that wrong, actually. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you typed it right, but it's, yeah, 4 does not connect to 8. State Road 4 to County Road 15, County Road 8, County Road 10, County Road 13 down to 6. Hey, nice try. We do skip a number in there, but I don't know, it probably picks up somewhere, but not up there. Okay, a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Technically, are you amending your motion to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am indeed. Move to approve the minutes as amended.
I'll second that amendment.
Now we have a new motion and a new second. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same. Motion carries. Okay. We got any claims?
I didn't have any in my email.
Yeah, I got a list.
Oh, the big batch.
Yeah.
Was it in a separate email?
Yes.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? That's why I didn't see it. And it always is. I need to,
So I'll,
you did.
yeah, I'll move to approve the big batch of claims.
It was a big batch.
I'll
too.
second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. Are there any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, say nay.
There it is.
Motion carries. Okay, let's move on to Okabachi agreement. What do we got? Anyone representing Pokabachi?
We have Jennifer Sharkey.
Well, good morning. Jennifer Sharkey, Chair of the Pokabosh Coalition. So we are down the home stretch, I'll say, to have our interlocal agreement amongst all the 11 communities. We have 9 of the 11, so the town of Waterloo will meet tomorrow evening for their discussion and hopeful approval as well. So amongst DeKalb County and the town of Waterloo, we are pretty much there. So the comments have been great from all the agencies. We had a nice joint meeting of the task force appointees of the other 8 communities, as well as our volunteer coalition group last Friday, I believe. Was it last Friday? Yeah, last Friday here at Ecker Library, and had a nice discussion on steps moving forward. But look forward to having another meeting with our full 11 counties represented on the task force and moving forward. And with that, if there's any questions on the agreement in front of you, it's the same agreement. There were a couple just minor tweaks just from some language of review of other legal counsel and agencies, but nothing that changed the intent of the agreement.
Did you get a chance
Questions?
to review it?
I did, and I don't see any problem with it. You can get out, so they make their budget up in May, and so you have a few months to look at it. I see it probably pretty low risk there to having some big budgetary cost, because you got to have all these communities and their representatives agree to it. But even if so, you've got time till that November to get out if they charge you $100,000 for your share or something and you don't like it. So it seems safe from the legal standpoint.
And the only thing I changed on it was the date, like for the year.
Is that Michael?
Of all 11 entities, because everybody's in a pretty different position. Waterloo has pretty much got their trail part already done. We've got a large section of ours done or grants on their way. But there are other, and Fort Wayne's got quite a bit done. I don't believe it's ever been the intention of the coalition that this task force would have some big budget, because the task force itself is not going to build anything. The task force primary goal is to coordinate the activity between Pokagon and Obachi State Park and all of the governmental units in between. If there's additional trails to be built in DeKalb County, which there are, that's going to be a responsibility of DeKalb County and whatever groups can come together to build those. Same way in Steuben County. Steuben County has got a very active trail group, which at this point we do not have, but we will have before the end of the year. They're going to be responsible for getting that stuff built. We're more of a coordinating body. Yes, there will be some expenses because maybe we'll want to help hire an engineer, but again, I don't think that'll be paid for in full by this task force. It's always going to be a matter of coordination. So that's where we're at right now. The only other thing we have to find out, and Susan and I need to talk about this because we're going to need one of the governmental entities to be the actual fiscal agent to this group once it's done. And I don't think right now, among these 11 different groups, I don't think anybody's done that as a fiscal agent for a multi-jurisdiction group. I'm familiar with the fact that Adams County has done that, so I'm going to try to direct as many questions down the Adams County auditor as possible. But right now, if a budget comes through, it's going to be a very small amount. So.
Are we still talking taxpayer fund grants, through grants as far as?
I would say, Bill, you're right. That's the way most of this is going to happen. It's going to be through grants.
80-20 match?
It could be. And then, we have the opportunity where, our groups locally can help try to raise that 20%. Doesn't necessarily have to come from the government. That I'm not going to say that it won't maybe be asked, but there are other options that we have to pursue also. Because I know as well as you do that, the money's limited. We know that.
Yeah. Well, and another thing I think we need to point out is these government grants have specification and engineering requirements on these trails that probably double the cost. If you was to do it donation, volunteer, and so forth, you probably do half the cost. I have seen trails, and these trails all involve asphalt surface. I have seen trails, and there's one in Indiana, central Indiana, and I see them up in Minnesota a lot. This asphalt separates, and it creates big 1-inch gaps. When it does that, it expands in the summer and contracts in the winter and develops these big cracks. And I think asphalt surface for trails is not a good economical situation.
Well, actually, as somebody who rides those trails across the country, the asphalt is the best way. Gravel.
It does separate, though.
Yeah, they do, but you have to maintain them. The
On a bike, that's not
gravel
a problem.
trails, Michigan has a lot of gravel trails. I just rode last year a trail in Iowa that's actually it's called the Three Rivers Trail. I was kind of intrigued by that. I thought the Three Rivers were here, but it was a gravel trail also, and a lot of runoff, a lot of erosion, a lot of problems. It's a gravel trail over in northwest Indiana. It's probably one of the worst gravel trails I've ever been on, because they're trying to do two things with it. They're trying to maintain an access for large utility trucks to get to these big utility lines. So they're using the big stone rather than a real fine crushed gravel. Some fine crushed gravel is very good because it becomes almost like concrete. But if there's a lot of rain, there's a lot of water, they take a lot of maintenance. So and if you're right, if you use the federal funding, there can be some very restrictive rules for building. I think Steve Bruns here made the comment one time, if we used the federal funding to get it, we'd be able to drive semis over these trails. That's okay. We know that's overkill. We need to work with what we can, but especially with if anywhere near an urban area, they need to also be asphalt, because you not only have people on rollerblades and you have women and men pushing baby carriages and things like that. They really do need to be asphalt.
Okay. Comments, questions?
The state grant requirements are considerably less restrictive.
That's my understanding, but
federal,
maybe
yeah.
Jennifer knows
The
better than
next
I
level-
do there.
Next level connection grants are
Correct.
not nearly as restrictive. That's what we had gotten for the Auburn Waterloo Trail.
Yes, a lot of the state grants, whether it's trails or even the community crossings for the roadway grants, have a little bit less restriction because they're the federal dollars, therefore the federal requirements are not triggered at that point. So there's a lot of opportunity for some more, I'll say, creative or innovative ways to construct these facilities.
Any other comments? Entertain a motion.
I would move that we approve and sign the interlocal agreement for the Pocobosh Connector Trail and appoint a member to the task force.
I have a motion and a second. Any additional comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. I am a nay. You got it.
Thank you, Bill. The appointment, and I'll leave that, that doesn't have to be done today.
No, not today. We are hoping to get a task force meeting scheduled later this month. So if there is the opportunity to appoint someone prior to that meeting, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Have a good day.
Thanks, Rick.
Okay, Paul, you're here. Let's get you going.
Good morning, Paul.
You, Michael? Yeah, there you go.
Again, I don't believe Todd Thrush is here for this. You guys, I believe, should have a copy of everything that, yes.
No, we're not.
Yeah, that's fine. If that's what you want to do, I'm
I
okay.
think legally you have to wait till the posted time to start it when you're
Okay.
dealing with a particular person.
Okay,
Sorry, Paul.
that's
Okay.
okay. We'll go to travel then. Motion to approve travel,
So moved.
rubber stamp.
Second.
A motion second to approve travel. Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same. Motion carries. Farmers Market. What do we got on the farmers market?
Ann Fincham, who is the executive director for Auburn Main Street, called me last week and asked if we would consider letting them do the parking lot again this year on Saturdays only, of course. And-
Saturdays only?
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
because, can't do it
And,
the weekday.
So I told her I would present that this morning for discussion and see what the thoughts were.
What do you think, Todd?
I'm good with it.
I am too. I think it's a no-brainer,
Yeah, went well last year.
but you gotta go, yeah. And we had suggested that last year, and they took us up on it. I think they were really happy. It seemed like it worked out really
It's
well.
great for them.
I mean, the parking's better, there's no congestion downtown, and so, yeah, motion. Do we have a contract on that?
I don't
We don't-
remember seeing anything.
We don't have anything.
I didn't think we did. It's just, is that okay
Is
just
there
to
a
do?
farmer's market group or what?
Well, Auburn Main Street
Okay.
runs that.
And you're just
Runs a farmer's
authorizing them to put it down there on the county property?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know that you need any kind of contract. There's no,
Well, we're talking about Saturdays only in our parking lot.
on your
Correct.
parking lot.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
And the, yeah.
I didn't know. I knew we didn't have, I didn't know if we should have.
Did they run it that way already last year?
Yes.
I don't know that it needs a contract. I mean, I don't know how much the county passes by every festival or group or whatever that uses its property through the liability insurance.
That's what I
But
was going to say.
That was going to
Talk about our
be,
insurance.
do we need a liability waiver or something? To be really on the safe side.
Well, and it's run by the Auburn Main Street group. There's no separate association or foundation or anything that's running the farmer's market. I guess we could do like a little indemnification agreement. We're not charging them anything.
No.
But it would be nice for them to say they would have insurance that would cover it. That way, that's kind of what we're,
I would think they need to have, they have some sort of a liability.
it should be on their
Coverage,
liability
yeah.
insurance carrier.
They
I
should
would
give us a
think.
certificate of insurance and.
Right.
and,
You want me to develop some sort of a contract for that and pose it to them?
Contract, MOU, whatever.
MOU, okay.
Something simple.
Yeah.
They have insurance for that?
I'm sure they've got some sort of a blanket liability policy because they do First Fridays and all kinds of other events.
Somebody could get run over in a parade pretty easily.
Yeah.
I would hope
Yeah.
they have some sort of
Yeah,
insurance.
yeah.
I know, but what do the farmers market people
That's what I'm saying.
have? Do the individual people have, do the individual people have their own responsibility for that, or do we know?
No, the vendors sign up with Main Street. They have an agreement with Main Street.
Okay.
So it all goes back to Auburn Main Street. Has to.
So basically, so the question would be, do you want to just approve it like you've been doing for down here and keep it the same for a year? And then have me negotiate with them for some sort of a simple MOU? Or do you want to wait until I get an MOU drawn up before you approve it for this year?
I think we can go ahead and approve it, just
I'm
on the
fine with
condition
that.
that we get
Okay.
that MOU and
Okay.
to verify their liability
Okay.
situation,
That's fine.
insurance.
Okay,
Okay,
I'll make a note.
all right.
Who's the contact person with Auburn?
And Fincham.
Oh, Ann Fitchum? Okay.
Yeah, I'll send you her.
Thank you.
Phone number. So I would make a motion that we approve Auburn Main Street using the county parking lot on Saturdays for their farmers market. And that going forward, we'll have Andrew talk with him about an MOU.
Second?
Motion and second. Comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Now, Paul, we can get you going, get you out of here.
All right, good morning. So, once again, we're discussing the Todd Thrush property. This is going to be on County Road 7A over in Garrett. I'll start by saying I have had this property in my process since January of '22. Following the process, they were scheduled to meet with commissioners, and then by fault of my own, I didn't arrive for that meeting due to my full-time job. So, in all fairness, I restarted the process on that property. Basically gave them a second opportunity with, all the letters, violation notices. And then here we are today. Well over a year. The most recent photos were just taken last Thursday on the 6th. Property continues to decline. They don't pay for trash service. So as you can see in the photos, there's many trash bags out in the lawn. There's two trailers, utility trailers out here full of trash bags, and what used to be trash bags is now just ripped open garbage bags, so there's garbage everywhere. There's a pickup truck in the driveway full of who knows what. Crap, garbage. I did see some cats in there. The gentleman has, I'm sorry?
Can I see the picture?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want the most recent, or, you know what, I'll give you,
Yeah.
I should have printed off what I
Oh, you're okay.
had in '22.
Thank you.
Yeah, they were online. I did look at several of those online.
Yeah.
What was that address again? Do you have that address?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, 6841 County Road 7A in Garrett. Oh, I'm sorry, this is the Todd, this is my notice number 1.
Okay.
So you can see, I mean, in comparison with February's photos and the photos here last Thursday, I mean, there's zero improvement. It's, again, continuously declines. I have tried to speak with him personally, knocking on their door. He doesn't want to talk to me. I was actually concerned about his safety at one point. You know, I knocked on his door. A week later, I went back, knocked on his door. Nobody answered. So I did, I believe it's in my notes, I did have a county sheriff come out and do a welfare check. So he spoke with that sheriff and told him that he didn't want to speak to me. So unfortunately, I understand the gentleman is disabled. He told me he was disabled. But they do go in and out of their house, so.
Yeah. When he's able to accumulate,
I'm sorry?
he's able to accumulate.
Oh, yes, absolutely, yep. And I do have, I will mention this, sorry, wrong folder. I do have some phone numbers for different resources that he could call if I could get it to him. You know, maybe his township trustee or
No problem.
any one of these resources that could either help him financially or just help him clean the property, so. I would love to give him one of these papers with all these phone numbers, but again, he's unwilling to speak with me, so.
Problem with cleaning it, unless he gets trash service, I mean, he has literally hundreds of bags of trash out in the yard. There's gonna be rats and raccoons and,
And I believe there's actually garbage cans on the property
Yeah.
with multiple different vendors, so whether they've exhausted all their resources there, I don't know, but.
Yeah.
thank you.
Well, there are places where you can get help, for sure.
Absolutely, and I
Republic
mean,
has some sort of a program, and
this trash is already on the trailers. I mean, hook the trailer up and take it to Washlers. I've spoken to Washlers on my own, trying to find resources that I could pass on to people if they need it. So, I mean, I've got some numbers from Washler as far as, you know, the cost of bringing your own trash there and stuff like that, so.
Is it possible with all this trash being outside the house that there could be a health department issue and the health department might come in and condemn it or something? I mean, I don't know whether you want to go there or not.
Yeah, that's a little beyond my scope, but.
Okay.
I think it could get there. I mean, this isn't a safe situation to have trash surrounding your house.
well, and I suspect that if Bernie went out there, he would probably issue some sort of a citation or something along those lines. There's certainly health issues involved there.
Yeah, and I did receive a phone call from that township trustee, and I forget the gentleman's name. Obviously, you know, people in that community are concerned about it and
Yeah.
things like that.
That
Properties
Butler
down
one
the
or
road all
two?
look pretty good, so. I'm sorry?
Is that Butler 1 or 2 township? Probably, well, it should be 2.
Sure, what the townships are there.
That southeast corner is Butler 1 and 2, southwest corner, I'm sorry. I think it's probably 2. Anyway, just,
Our recommendation here, what do we do? Obviously, he's not gonna comply, didn't show up today, he's disabled.
Well, the only option we have is to have Andrew initiate the next step, which would be pursue a legal action.
Right.
I mean, there's really nothing else we can do
Yeah.
unless we go out there and do it ourselves.
That amount of trash, that needs cleaned up.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just raw trash. It's not like a few cars here and there and a few tires. I mean, that's
Right. Yep.
daily trash that's just gonna rip up and blow in other people's yards. I would be furious if I had everyone's trash blowing in my yard every day.
Yeah, well, we're in the same situation we were in with the one out on State Road 1, or
Oh, yeah.
101, whatever.
Which he
I mean,
finally
which
stepped
they finally
up.
stepped up.
Yeah, well,
But,
we put the pressure, that
Oh,
guy stepped
yeah,
up a
that
little
gentleman
bit.
should be here
We've
in
had
just a
a
little
year,
bit.
had this one on the radar for a year and a half now, and it's getting worse instead of better, so our options are ignore it or take the next step from a legal standpoint.
We had another complaint, am I right?
I'm sorry.
We had another citizen complaint about that property.
The Thrush property.
Yeah. Thought I read that.
The most recent complaint was the township trustee
Was it?
that
Well,
contacted
I'd gotten a
me.
call from Mayor Fiant too, so.
Okay,
Oh,
I think we better act on it then. If we ignore it, we're
yeah.
part of the
What
problem.
was it that you're having Attorney Cruz do? Did you say what you're, I don't remember.
Well, there does need to be probably an official motion. I know, like in Waterloo, there's an ordinance that sets up the town council, I think, as its own board for these determinations, and you have a hearing, swear witnesses under oath and all that stuff. I don't know what you guys have done in the past or what your ordinances are for something like that. Maybe you just do a vote and do a complaint request for the court to issue an injunction to make them clean up. I don't know. Or I can look at,
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what that looks like. I mean, I think we were within the scope of our authority to hire somebody to go out and clean that up
Yeah.
and put it on their tax bill.
yeah, I think that is
need
in
a
the
court order though
ordinance.
to be able to enter somebody's
Yes,
property?
we would
Okay.
need
Yeah.
a court support
So
to
that's
be
what we
able to
would
do
do,
that.
okay.
Yeah,
And that's in the ordinance.
yeah,
I was trying to think too, I wasn't recalling exactly what it was, but that's,
yeah. that's
So
it.
I'll look in the ordinance and then draft up a complaint requesting a court order to be able to
Yeah.
go out and clean it up ourselves.
All right,
We need a
so-
motion for that?
I believe you, yeah,
Yeah,
tell me
let's
to
do
do
a
that. I
motion.
think you should do a motion and a vote on it.
Go ahead, Mike.
I'll move that we instruct the commissioner's attorney to prepare the necessary legal paperwork to move forward on the next steps on this property. 6841 County Road 7A.
Second.
a motion and second on the floor. Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Okay. Anything else, Paul?
Yes, so I am scheduled for your 9:30 as well, and that gentleman's not here yet. I can give you a quick brief on some of the other properties in my process, if you guys would like to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've had several complaints from Fairfield Center, which is going to be County Road 13, north of US 6, the Mason property. There's actually, I have 3 properties in the process right there in that immediate area. 2 of those properties are owned by the same person. 1 property across the street is, it's a rental property. I believe it is family of the Masons across the road. So that rental property owner did get a copy of the violation notice. So that I just started that process. Let's see where we at. Spencerville, I have a property. The homeowners are incarcerated. Somebody living on the property has put trash at the roadway. We're close to the end of this process, and it'll be coming to your desk soon. Eric Fuller, he should be here soon for the 9:30. That's going to be the County Road 62 property. And I believe that's all I have at the moment. So, again, the Mason property, you know, yes, it's a big deal. This is going to be a big one, so.
Yeah.
It is.
It's been that way for a long, long time.
I'll go look at that. Where's that at?
Right in Fairfield Center.
Yeah, it's basically right in Fairfield Center, so.
Where's Fairfield? I mean, what
It's
Mostly
Item
vehicles
13
and
and
equipment or
12.
junk?
13 and 12?
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry,
right
but
next
is
to
it mostly
the
junk,
cemetery
equipment,
entrance,
vehicles?
South of the cemetery
Yes,
entrance.
Gotcha.
yes,
Yes and yes.
yes.
All
Yeah,
right.
there's a lot happening there.
That's
Are
amazing.
they running a
property.
business out of it or just,
No, just, I believe the sons enjoy doing recreational things with the vehicles, whether it's mud bogging or whatever, so.
okay.
There's a lot going on, so, you guys will see that. I would assume you guys are gonna see that one come through as well.
I believe, are there still animals up there, at that location?
Animals,
Yes.
I haven't seen any. And of course, I don't enter their property, you know, everything.
There used to be animals there and then.
Everything
kinda
I do is from the
decimated
roadway, from
situation.
public's view, what the public would see as they drive by, so.
That's, County Road 13 property is Mason.
County Road 13,
It's Mason.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
I
Want to make
could-
sure that was on your radar. I got a bunch of pictures and stuff that were sent to me on that one. I think I forwarded those to Chris, so you may already have them.
Yeah, I should have those,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
And that's all I have, I believe, right now in my process, but. Moving on, I don't believe Eric Fuller is here this morning. Again, you guys hopefully got everything that I sent to you. So we're familiar with Eric. Eric has also been in my process since January of '22. There was a lot, right? You guys remember the meetings that we've had with him in the past. So we've gotten much friendlier. I've given him a lot of encouragement. We did over the winter, I did extend his, I amended the process there, gave him extensions on it. For one, I don't like telling people to go out in the middle of a snowstorm to clean up, so, but I have seen progress on the property.
Oh, good.
So again, you guys should have the photos. So these photos were taken of September of '22, and then the most recent taken here, April 6th. So you can see an improvement on those.
Thank you. I like to see printed. Stuff in print.
Yeah. And then I sent you guys a copy of my letter to Eric saying that I'm extending this process and things like that, so. Again, I just encourage him to keep up the good work. He has done a lot. There is still a lot on the property, so. I thought it'd be fair that he's been in our process so long that he comes and speaks with you, and unfortunately, he didn't make it in, so.
Okay, well. I got held up at the security, never know.
Does look better. I don't see as much tires and
Yeah, so, I mean, it
vehicles
is hard to
still,
see,
but-
it is hard to see on paper and even from the photos from the phone. Once you're out there in person, it's, you know, you can definitely see the tires stacked on racks and things like that, so. I'm just gonna peek out here, see if he's out.
Does look better. Is he a scrapper? Does he scrap out vehicles? Or-
Honestly, I'm not sure if
curious.
he's trying to fix them up or if he's scrapping them, I'm not sure. There's a lot of changeover in the vehicles that I see on the property, so. Not sure. Unless you guys recommend anything different, I'll just continue on with him. Like I said, I encourage him to get out there and keep up the good work, so.
I would say we stay on the same,
Yeah.
Yeah, his demeanor has definitely changed since our,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah. He's
meeting here in the
out.
past, so.
That means a lot, that says a lot.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Demeanor is,
He's Mid-60s Grand Prix there.
Yeah,
He does have some vehicles out there that are pretty
there
interesting.
too.
Yes.
'69 Charger, I'll go out there and remove it for him and help him.
I would help, yeah, I'd help you out with that.
Yeah,
Those are hard to find.
okay. Anything else?
It looks like I just got a message saying he's attempting to make it here today, so.
Oh, is he? We got a little time. We can wait on him. I believe, yeah.
He says he's on his way. I mean, I can hang out back here if you guys want to talk with him, so. It's up to you.
Either way, you just
Probably just
hang
tell
out
him-
there, or hang, you
Probably just
guys.
tell them, hey, we're good with the progress, keep up the good work, and
Okay. I mean, if you guys don't want to talk to him, that's fine. I'll just pass that
I
on.
don't need to if he's doing a good job, and
Yeah.
if you want to just relay, we're,
Okay.
appreciate him.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Well, sounds good then.
yeah, perfect.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys have a good day.
you too. Thank you, Paul. Miscellaneous topics. I believe that's where we're at now. What you got? Anything?
Talked to Brian Humbarger, he reviewed their agreement, and there doesn't seem to be any wording in there about the governance board approving any new positions at the central communications. That was a concern that was brought up, that the governance board of central needed to approve, and that's not in the agreement. So
Okay,
I guess that's up to us then, which we need to be careful, because,
Right.
but I think we're good.
The governance board is certainly in favor of it.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, I don't, I was really kind of undecided on that, and I still hear some negative about it. There's another county, I think it's Du Bois County, about same size as our county, about same population.
County is that, Bill?
Du Bois,
Boys?
same population, same size. They don't have do have interstate running across the south edge of it, not as busy as our interstate, but they have a dispatch center, and they man that with 13 people.
13.
So, just,
Did they have any excess levy agreements?
that I don't know. But they're manning theirs. So I don't, I'm not saying that's where we should be necessarily. It was just kind of an interesting
Well, it
comment.
depends on how many fire departments they have and how many municipal police departments they're servicing too.
Yeah.
That will have some
I'm
effect
sure,
on
but with the same population. And I'm sure, I don't think that interstate is nearly as, a lot of our calls are obviously interstate involved. And I
Thought
don't
of
think,
that, yeah.
the interstate runs across their county, runs from Evansville to Louisville, maybe? I think. So anyway, just thought it was kind of interesting. I mean, if it's needed, but is it really needed? And if it eliminates the overtime, and I want to make sure, I think the council needs to make sure it eliminates all overtime, basically, unless they have a sick problem with
Emergency,
a lot of people off sick for some reason.
They
But
can't
otherwise-
totally eliminate all overtime because of the way that they're
Some of it's built
scheduled.
into the schedule, there's minimum.
Yeah, but there was a comment made that it would, and I'm assuming that they would adjust that schedule, so that.
No, the
it-
comment made was it would eliminate, he could literally eliminate all overtime except for the standard built in, because the way that they're scheduled, they automatically have overtime every 2 weeks with the, I think he calls it the Pittman schedule, the 2 on, 2 off. I forget it, 2 on, 2 off, 3 on, however it goes.
However it goes.
But it automatically already has the overtime that we have to pay per federal standards. that part of the overtime is not going to go away. It can't, because that's how the
Okay.
schedule is.
Comment I caught though, why couldn't that schedule be changed? And the concern is they're working 12-hour shifts. They're telling us this is a highly stressful job. Only 2% of the population can do this job, but they're working 12-hour shifts. Is there some way they can schedule them to an 8-hour shift and eliminate this any overtime?
So do like a 3-shift
Yeah, it'd have to be a 3-shift.
instead of a swing, or I call it a swing schedule.
Yeah, just a 3-hour shift. You give the employee their.
How many employees would that take, though, to
Well,
do that?
that's- You're moving 50% of your hours, so it definitely would involve,
You're covering the same hours with the same amount of people.
you can't cover 3 shifts with the same amount of people you cover 2 shifts with. I've been doing schedules for 50 years, and I
Yeah.
can tell you,
No, you get, if you're gonna break it up, that's what I'm saying, how many full-time shifts, people would you need in the shifts to cover
Right.
an 8-hour shift? Because I think it should be looked at, though, to see if we're truly trying to get rid of overtime.
takes the same number of staff
Same number of staff. to-
on any given shift. You
Yeah.
still have to have 4
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
four
You're gonna,
dispatchers,
you're gonna need 4 dispatchers on 3 shifts instead of,
so you gotta have 12 people a day instead of 8.
be interesting maybe just to ask Brian to say, okay, with these people, can you get covered on 8-hour shifts? Can you make that work? Because I'd like to see the overtime eliminated
Yeah, I would
if we're gonna
too.
do it.
I mean, that was, yeah.
And even if it costs us a little more, we get good coverage, no overtime, and then if someone is off, there'll be overtime, of course, if someone's ill. That would be the exception instead of the rule. Right now, we have the rule that, hey, there's a certain amount of overtime, but is that certain amount of overtime much cheaper than hiring a bunch more people, would be my question.
Right.
That
Yes.
would be my, yes, yeah.
Because I agree with Bill, though, if
I wasn't
this,
gonna say absolutely, but.
Yeah, yes, it is, because I've sat down and looked at this. It is cheaper to have the built-in overtime than it
It
is
is.
to add more additional staff. Plus, you're not just having to cover if somebody's sick. You have to cover all of them when they have vacations and
yeah, that's what I mean,
when they
yeah.
have all their time off, not just when they're sick.
So this will eliminate overtime from sick day, from call-ins and so forth, because they'll just put the Auburn and Garrett channels back together for that day. And do it with 3 dispatchers instead of 4. But normally, your Auburn and Garrett channels will be split, which is really the biggest issue.
And the other part of it is when all of this happened, there was all the municipalities, well, Auburn and Garrett, the ones that was impacting, they met with the county and there was excess levy increase requested with the county and decrease requested for both Auburn and Garrett.
Right.
So there, in total together, there was a little over 305,000, I believe, like 305,915, something like that, of money that the Auburn and Garrett
Went to
agreed
Garrett.
to give up so that it would come to the county so that taxpayers weren't double taxed for the service, with the knowledge that because they lost their centers, they would have their dedicated
gotcha.
person, and they've never gotten their dedicated person.
That's been the complaint from the 2 police chiefs since the
Correct.
beginning, is we're paying for that. We gave up our levy
Correct.
to pay for that, and we've never gotten it.
Yeah. And then the overtime, the big overtime, when, depending who does it, when they go out and do their OPO time, the Operation Pullover times, those are a lot of overtime because he's got to pull somebody else in to be able to cover all of those stops and still have enough staff to get through to the rest of the radio traffic that's happening. So that increases the overtime there, which won't have to increase if those dedicated people are there and they have the extra 2 staffing. And then the staffing model, and I just had all this out this weekend, actually had a total of 22 employees. That did include the director and an assistant, and it had like an IT specialist in there. But otherwise, it was all dispatchers, and which were not close to that suggestion on the study that had been done to get the center up and running.
These designated dispatchers, now they're designated for Auburn and one for Garrett. Are they exclusively, are those the only calls they take?
No.
No.
They team all that
what I
stuff.
was
So
gonna
if
say.
if
Yeah.
somebody's running a big event, they all pitch in and take the extra calls.
Extra calls?
Yeah.
Because the other three are busy.
Yeah,
If they're on a call and another call comes
yeah,
in,
yeah.
No.
They all
Yeah.
have each other's back all the
Yes.
time out there. I've spent a lot of time out there
there.
watching them. So.
Bill makes a good point, though, that I think it is a high-stress job. Air traffic controller, they're on for 20 minutes at a time, maybe 30, and then they're off for 30 minutes.
Really?
Oh, yeah, and they only work 6-hour days. And the reason being is the high stress. I just wonder, 12 hours sitting there is a long time to deal in. It can be 4 hours of boredom and then 8 hours of sheer tear, you know what I'm saying? Or just, and I think there needs to be a discussion about would it be better to have 8-hour shifts?
yeah.
You know, just to have the conversation at least, and if it doesn't work, if it's stupid expensive, then we can
Can do it.
stick with what it is, but I think it should at least be reviewed. If it truly is that high of a stress position, which I don't doubt that it isn't.
Food for thought.
Yeah.
Thought. Okay. Anything else? Miscellaneous?
I would just confirm, Bill, Mike, and Todd, you guys signed the Poke Bosch agreement today. I'll be able to notarize it. Susan asked me to get my notary and notarize it. So I just wanted to confirm you guys signed it there.
By the way, the County Road 56 agreement for the grant, it has, I read it, gosh, 30-some pages. They have Jan down as the auditor, as the contact point, so that needs to be changed to Susan on that agreement.
Pretty exciting reading though.
Yeah, the only part that I understood was the name was wrong on it. But just for, not that it really matters, but just correct that.
That needs to be corrected. Okay, anything else? Mike, Todd? Andrew, anybody?
Have anything?
The Todd Land stuff, I don't know. I mean, I emailed you about it.
Right.
It looks like there's an actual threat of litigation on it, but I told you my thoughts that I did not believe that they have a good legal argument to say we have to do that.
No.
I've certainly not seen anything about that. The only other idea that's ever come, that came to my mind as I'm thinking about it is there are certain, if someone's has like a grandfathered in, because this is not a grandfathered situation at all, but if it's a grandfathered in dangerous driveway, you put a sign saying, beware truck entrance over the hill or hidden driveway or something. But to do that in this situation is almost rewarding the person putting it in without permission.
I think that actually makes liability for you. You say, oh, you're gonna prove something that you know is dangerous?
Yeah. then
So
you're-
if someone gets
I
killed,
understand that. Yep.
then we get sued saying, hey, you guys were negligent by ignoring the NERC study on it. And I feel bad for them in a way. I mean,
I do too.
I see both sides of this, but then again, show me a drawing that you have from the highway department or from permitting that shows that driveway and that location you said that was proved in, and I'll be the first to say do it.
Right.
But when I was out there and when he tells me he's
exist.
gonna pull low boys out of there, someone's gonna fly, I don't care if it's 35 mile an hour, someone's gonna fly over there and a low boy's trying to turn out of there.
Well, It's going to take up the whole road.
It's gonna take up the whole road and
Yeah.
There's just some sharp peaked hills in that area.
Yeah, it's
on
just-
that
it's-
stretch of road.
and the argument, well, there's other dangerous driveways that were approved in the past is not a valid, well, just because we allowed
Not
bank
really a
robbery.
valid one right now, yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's, just because we allowed things to happen in the past, now we have a lot more density than we used to have too.
Right.
And I think we need to be very cautious on our density that's out in these areas.
Ben made a good point the other day that it's not suitable for any kind of a business. He has no, it's not zoned for business. So why is he going in now there with lowboys? If he's
What
running a
is he
business out
taking
there.
stuff? That's right. It's like he's operating a business, right?
Well, he does excavation as, I believe, as his profession.
Right.
I think he's pretty good at it too, so.
But anyway, it shouldn't be allowed, there shouldn't be a driveway for, that's a 40 or 50, 60 foot wide driveway to
Yeah.
begin with, which takes it even further down the hill.
Yeah.
And maybe he should consider selling that, he's got an approved driveway permit,
Right.
but it wouldn't be,
Just goes to the middle of
you
his
couldn't,
pond.
you couldn't get a lowboy or a semi in and out
Yeah.
of it. You could get a car in and out of it, a straight truck in and out of it, but nothing of that, lowboy or semi size.
Well, I think he would still have to modify the pond though, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he'd have to modify, he'd have to fill in a little bit of that pond on that, where the dam's at.
Ben didn't want him to run parallel to the pond in the right of way because we have
Yeah.
right of way for a
Right.
reason.
He'd have to go up on top of that dike.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, but I just,
I think our hands are pretty well tied on this. I don't see any way out that protects the county.
And we're not gonna get the 45 mile an hour speed limit law, so that's not.
35.
Well, there was.
They
a
need
40
35 to comply there, right?
Yeah, 45 state.
Yeah.
We're not gonna get that.
But the problem is with 35 is there isn't a person in the world that'll obey that 35 mile an hour.
Well, it's ridiculous.
You look on County Road 35 that is nothing but whoop-de-doos. I watch people drive 70 and 80 mile an hour down that thing flying over those hills.
Well, they don't even obey the 35 mile an hour speed limit on Grandstand.
That's what I'm
let alone-
saying. Grandstaff isn't even
Let alone-
obeyed.
So the only thing the 45 would do would reduce the amount of hill he'd have to take off.
Yeah, yes, it would.
But the cost is
But
gonna
it
be,
still doesn't change.
There's still going to be the engineering cost.
it's
and
still
all
gonna be
that, yeah.
expensive.
Well, wasn't the engineering cost 170,000 or
Yeah,
something?
78,000.
Yeah.
That's more than the land's worth, so I mean,
Yeah.
there's no way.
That's a
The
crazy
first-
high engineering cost.
Well, and the thing that really interested me was that his neighbor sitting in here came to the meeting.
Oh, really?
This was before.
Okay.
Because he only needed to buy or get an easement for maybe, 30
30
foot
feet, yeah.
from the neighbor, and the neighbor's like,
No,
so
Not gonna do
what's
it.
the issue there that's so contentious? I mean, if my neighbor came to me and said, hey, here's $30,000, I need 30 foot, I'd say, write the check.
Right.
You know what I mean? But, so.
Maybe they know, I mean, it wouldn't be so why would all the trucks be going in and out? Because it would be running an excavation business where it's not zoned properly,
Right.
right? Is
Right.
the other
Yeah,
thing.
that
What
was
are
my-
we trying,
that
what
was
are we
my-
trying to facilitate here?
Yeah, and I'm not sure there's any ordinance from storing construction equipment on your property, is there? There's a gentleman on
Probably not.
the back road out of Auburn, Old Brick Road, that has semis parked in next to Lynn Aldridge's old house. You know what I'm talking?
yeah, yeah.
He
In the
stores
Hernai home
semis
you're
there.
talking about?
Yeah, Hernai.
Hernai's, yeah,
Yeah.
George Hernai's home.
Yeah. Ken Stein
But
owned it.
if
at one
you're,
time.
if you're a truck driver, I think you can park your own truck or
Yes.
two on your own property, I would think.
Yeah.
But if you've got
Yeah,
an
but if you're-
excavation company, are you running your business out of your house or do you have a separate structure with a?
Question, good question.
Where's Todd Land's separate business office?
Right. And that property is not, the setting is really nice. I mean, I wouldn't put a bit.
Oh, it's a
unless-
beautiful setting.
It's a beautiful setting for a house,
Yeah.
but it's too
I wouldn't ruin
elaborate
it
for
with
a
a bunch.
business.
Yeah. I wouldn't
Especially
ruin
a
it with
construction
Well, and that's
business.
probably part of the neighbor's problem. That deep down, I'm probably thinking the neighbor's saying, I don't want low boys and excavators and
Coming in and out.
coming in and out of here, so.
And it went a lot deeper than that too.
Oh, yeah,
There was
there's been some
there's-
real,
Oh, yeah.
There's been some contention, has there, so.
that's putting it mildly.
It's like I told him, the last discussion I had with him, I said, Todd, unfortunately, this is just gonna cost you some money. You're gonna have to fill in this pond somewhat. You've gotta, they're being gracious enough to allow you the 10-year-old permit to continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show me a drawing that was approved, where it was approved there, and then we'll do it, but
They never talked to the highway department about the driveway placement in a different spot, I
in a,
don't think.
not that,
Yeah.
not that I'm aware of. There's no
Right.
record of it. Now, he
They've had plenty of
says,
time to get that to us, so I don't think we're gonna be surprised with some record.
well, Mr. Land claimed that they had that discussion, and verbal claims are very nice, But unless you know as well as I do, when you go to court, verbal claims mean nothing.
It should mean nothing.
Unless 10 people heard you say it and they got it recorded saying, yes, he said that, here's what he had, but I've always get everything in writing,
Yep.
It's unfortunate, it really is. I don't want to see him have any grief, but
Well,
what it is.
and he could do his driveway where it is permitted.
yeah, just have to
He can
change
do
up the
the
pond a
work
little.
himself at minimal cost, and the lot would be actually sellable.
Oh, it's a beautiful,
Yeah.
So he could
and-
do the driveway where it's permitted now. Could he get cars in and out of it?
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's permitted now and not destroy the pond?
He'd have to modify the pond a little.
That's
He'd have
true.
to-
For just a little
Yes.
car to drive
Yes.
by or something?
Yeah.
Okay. I was hoping maybe that he wouldn't have to modify the pond unless he had to get trucks in and out or something.
No, even for a
Even
car.
for a car, you'd have to modify it.
But
Yeah,
we're
a little
talking
bit.
for someone like him, I think he could do this in a week. I
Oh,
mean, he
yeah.
could go there,
Yeah.
and he's got the heavy equipment. It'd sure be a lot cheaper to maybe spend 5 or 10 grand of his wear and tear on his equipment and his diesel fuel and his time
Right.
to correct what's already been permitted versus 170,000 for a study and probably another 100,000 to do the work. I mean, it'd be $250,000, 300,000 to
Yeah.
rip that hill off. Plus you're inconveniencing all the other neighbors that already have driveways. Their driveways are gonna have to be reshaped and regraded.
Well, that's why they're going to have to buy actually
That doesn't
right-of-way.
work.
They're going to take that right-of-way back to get the slope off those
It
driveways.
doesn't work.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
doesn't. Yeah. That's why there's no reason it's going to be so expensive.
Yeah.
So what do you guys want me to tell Mr. Land's attorney, Tom Trent, that basically,
I would say that we wouldn't, we
That
would
they-
not allow the proposed permitted driveway. We will allow the permitted driveway at the bottom, at the north end. And that's what he's got to live with.
Yeah.
You know, if he
Driveway.
wants to put that in, he still has that opportunity to put that in. The lot will have value at that point. He'll have access and, I don't know.
Yeah.
yeah,
Really nothing else we can do. We've offered him all the options that we can
Can
offer
offer.
him, I think.
Yeah.
and the real problem is that it truly is a dangerous, I'm one for landowner rights 100%. But I'm just worried about soccer mom coming over that hill
And it's the thing,
and smacking someone and killing their child, or it's gonna happen. It's just not a good location. Even at the bottom of the hill, it's a little questionable, but it gives
Better.
someone time to react at least,
yeah.
so.
so they are allowed the permitted driveway placement and they just have to live with that, move the pond if needed?
Modify pond as necessary.
Yeah,
Pretty much it.
okay,
Okay. And they can take it from there, I guess.
that's right.
If they need to sue us, I guess they can do that, but I
I
think,
won't quite put it that way, but I'll put it just short of, hey, sue us, we don't care.
well, it's the truth. I mean, they
Well,
can sue
yeah.
us, but I don't think they're going anywhere with it. When we have studies that say that's a dangerous place to put it, and he has nothing that shows that it was ever permitted to be there, he has no leg
Yeah,
to stand
I
on.
think they have no leg to stand on either one. They've not brought forth any counter studies to say anything.
Right? Well, and we used the known gold standard to determine
Yes,
it.
I think
It's
they
not like
complained
we-
about Ben's standard, but the standard is the
It's what the
state's
state
golden
uses.
standard anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It doesn't get much higher than that. All right. You breaking?
Let's take a break.
Your turn, Bill.
My turn?
You're in trouble.
Okay. Okay. Here we go.
Mike's on.
Back in section. Mike's on.
Mike's on.
Ben's on.
Thanks. That's funny.
All right, Ben, what you got today? Good news, bad news, no news.
Well, I got some news. Let's see here. First thing on my list this morning is the NDOT LPA construction contract. It was sent out to all of you, including Andrew Cruz, for review. I did make an email back to NDOT that we was going to act on that on April 10th. That is for approval by the commissioners for Bill Hartman to sign as the signer for the county. And that will be sent to Bill DocuSign.
Which agreement, is this the consultant agreement?
This
or
is the NDOT
the
LPA.
NDOT LPA agreement?
Yep. So if David had any comments on that, I don't know if he did or not, for the commissioners, but it's a pretty standard form. Like I said in your email, this is for the amount, get to the back page, $3,463,995.20. That was the original contract, or the original estimate before this recent update of construction costs we've gotten. So per the email, when I sent and requested from David Armstrong, his response back was that they'll evaluate that at the bidding time, and if funds are available, they'll participate. If not, there's a possibility the county would have to pay additional funds or reject the bids at that time, and then wait for more federal funds to come available, is my understanding of it. So just be aware that is a possibility. It's very unlikely, I think. I don't know if I'd say very unlikely, but there's a very good chance that NDOT's going to participate. But there's a possibility if funds aren't available, just a possibility we're taking. That's one bad thing with federal aid projects. You know, we submitted for this back in 2017. You know, so typically a federal aid project's a 5-year project turnaround. And our case here, we hit extreme escalation pricing on everything. Inflation just went crazy. So that's really affected this project, and I think NDOT and everybody is aware of that, so hopefully they'll be contributing. But today, all I'll need is a motion and for you guys to allow Bill to sign this, or we can move forward. It was emailed.
It was emailed, yeah.
You want this one? You can have it. This will be the NDOT.
There's an LPA, and yeah, I'm sure it can be kind of confusing in all the paperwork, but then there's a consultant agreement that
Right.
connects in, but it's different.
Not that, I ain't got there yet, no. At the very top of it should say Indiana Department of Transportation, local public agencies.
I did go through this LPA agreement.
Yes.
Yep.
It appears to me to be a standard form agreement that the state uses in pretty much all these situations, so you're not really gonna get the only thing I saw is it requires affirmative action reporting to be done by the county in paragraph 6.17.2, and I didn't know if that was being done.
If that is,
Affirmative action reporting, I don't know if that's Dottie's or, you know what I'm talking about, 6 point?
that would be for the ADA compliancy, Title VI compliancies? What page was that on, do you know?
It was paragraph 6.17.2. I'll see if I can pull up the document.
Confirm that we took action, is that what they're asking?
Yeah, I mean, Let me see
And we
here.
affirm, we took action.
When they include federal funds, you got to comply.
There's
with so
different
many.
compliance. You have, let's see,
You said 6.1? 6.4.
I thought it was 6.1, or see, 6, yeah, hopefully I have this here, 6 point. Here. Oh, no, I'm in the consultant's agreement. Let me take a quick look at your agreement.
Yeah. That's where I was at, but I'm not sure if that's what you was referencing. That is not to be used for signatures, or that's just for reference and voting only.
Oh,
No, you don't sign any of them.
DocuSign, they come in DocuSign. Yeah, that's right.
This right here. Got over 50 employees. Dottie might be already doing it. That was, I think, the only thing I saw on there. You see what I'm referring to, Ben?
Yep. Well, then it goes on and says a policy of NDOT ensures full compliance with Title VI and Civil Rights Act under 1964, Americans with Disabilities Act, which we've done all that. I'd have to, I'm not sure without looking it up what the affirmative action reporting requirements of 41 CFR 60-1.7 is.
What is that again? And I'll email Dottie right now. 41 dash.
No, it's just 41 CFR 60-1.7.
Okay, I'll just ask her about that.
It
Because
says
she
the
might be
LPA
doing that already, I don't know.
The LPA shall comply with Section 202 of the Executive Order 11246 as amended.
I would say it's nothing to stop us from going ahead, and I'll just check with Dottie and see if there's anything. And it also may be that the state requires some of that stuff and never checks it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But that was just something I saw when I was reviewing it, just to make sure. Because there can be little details like that that crop up that, I mean, we probably signed other agreements with that same requirement in it before too. And it's,
I'm sure. Well, yeah, because this should be the same form as our countywide bridge inspections and things. It's all federal aid. But off the top of my head, I can't answer that, what that is without.
that's fair enough, Ben. I mean, it's a little technical fine print in there, so.
There's a lot more of it in there than just that one. So,
Always is. Okay. Need a motion? Want me to sign on DocuSign?
I'd make a motion to have Bill sign the LPA contract.
I'll second.
Oh,
And
wait,
mo-
you want this by
I
the...
don't need it unless
don't
you
need
guys
it?
want it.
Motion on the floor, any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye?
Aye, opposed the same. Motion carries.
Did you already receive an email on that?
No.
I will email him and ask him to send that to you,
Yeah.
so you'll be receiving that.
I got one, geez, it's been, and I don't even know what, I don't think it involved this a couple of weeks ago, and I just missed it because we hadn't even approved it yet.
Right,
So, yeah, he'll need to send me one.
okay. I will email him and have him send that. So I will ask him to copy me again. That way I know when it's sent, and then I can try to coordinate with you to make sure it gets,
Yeah.
just that we get it covered.
Yep, good idea, good idea. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Okay, what else you got?
Next thing, I was requested to draft a letter to NDOT reference the intersection of State Road 1 and County Road 40 for the commissioners for them to, you guys are making a formal request for them to install illuminated stop signs at that intersection. So I drafted a letter and emailed it to you guys in the Alder over the weekend. If you guys are okay with that and like to proceed with that, I got it printed up for all three to sign. And then I can send that down to NDOT and see if we get any response out of that, so.
That's a little solar-powered, yeah.
Flashing stop signs.
Yeah, this is what you had put up on our letterhead for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sent that to you guys Thursday or Friday, I
Yeah,
think.
I did see that.
I make a motion that we sign this letter to NDOT.
And I will second.
A motion and a second. Comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
If they, yeah, if they do it, right. Then I'll need that. You want a copy? I can scan it to you, you can make a copy, however you like to do it. I'll just, when I scan it in, I'll send you a copy of it.
There you go. That'll work. Easier. Okay, next.
And then just an FYI, you guys are aware we got the lifts down at the shop on a demo this last week. And we're going to demo a few more, or at least one more I have coming. It's the rotary lifts. Them should be here. When did Dusty tell me? I'm thinking next week. Them's there, because we got the set we got now till Friday. And then I think the following week, we're going to get them rotaries. So I'll let you guys know when them come in, if you want to stop down and take a look at them. The ones that are there now, I believe, are there till this coming Friday. The ones that we're demoing now is, doggone it, what's the name of that? Come on, Todd, you looked at it with me.
Yeah. They're nice, hydraulic
They're
ones.
slick. They are
Can't
really
think of the
slick.
name of it.
Yes. They're neat.
Because it's going to drive me nuts until I know what it is.
Like the idea
Gee,
of the.
Todd, we could go down on
Coney.
weekends and work on our cars.
That's right,
Koni, Coney.
Tony.
So the guys seen that down at the truck show down there in Indy. That's where all this kind of inspired from, where we got the contacts. So they brought this set up. It's a new set, hasn't been used, but so far it works out really well. Lifts tandems, single axles, will lift tractors, even certain types of sizes of equipment if it will set up under there correctly.
You can use it for an end lift, or
What's that?
you can use it for an end lift, or
Right, yeah. So it, really a nice versatile piece of equipment so far. I think it would be money well spent. I just think we need to look at a few other options before we decide and get some more pricing on some,
Yeah.
but
And we have discussed the drive-on and some of the other ones in the past. For the money, this looks like the best way to start, at least.
well, they're really versatile.
Yeah, very
You don't need
versatile.
them,
And,
stick them in the corner,
and maybe at some point you decide, well, we could use a drive-on or need a drive-on, but maybe not. So I'd recommend starting with these and going from there
and that would be my thoughts. But
yeah, where
by all
then,
means, investigate all the options.
right.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think
this is
we
the
need-
first set we've demoed and really looked at besides what was at the show. And getting hands-on, it's just kind of nice to do that.
Just the time you save over a year's time with, between working that, standing up and rolling around on creepers will pay for them.
Yeah, I've been impressed with him. When I first walked in there, it's kind of a little bit of an eerie feeling looking at that. Just the way it just cocks the wheels and picks it up. But it really seems to be firm. And the nice thing I did like about it versus the platform style lifts, I call them like the alignment racks, is that you don't have that center support in there that you got to work on all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, you got a clear span there, you can do.
Yeah, I mean, we can hang underbodies there and not have to deal with the
the rails,
rails on the sides and
yeah.
I did like that. Because you know what, my first thought was, well, how you gonna change tires or do anything like that? Well, I don't know if any
You're
of
not
you ever
lifting
picked
them
up,
anyway.
if you ever picked up one of them tires, you're gonna,
You're not gonna
250
do it.
pounds.
Yeah.
and then the same way with the axle, if he's gonna drop an axle, we're not gonna have it that high up in the air anyway.
Would hope
Use
not.
something to lower it down.
Yeah.
So I think for the application, I mean, so far I'm impressed with it. I think it would work out good. So I'll keep you informed of what we got coming, when it is, and we'll get some pricing and maybe move forward with one here soon.
Yeah, get something ordered.
I'm curious to see on that jack screw design, just because hydraulics are very reliable, don't get me wrong, but you still have possible hoses bursting and seals going, and whereas a jack screw is pretty, if you keep it greased, it should last forever. Electric motor.
Bearings could go out.
Bearings, but that's pretty rare, I would think. Keep it greased up, and
Yeah, and those are low-speed bearings. Well, the motor part would.
the motor, yeah, the motor, but you got an electric motor in the hydraulic ones too. They're electric over hydraulics,
Yeah,
so.
But as far as the screw, those are low-speed.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see it when it comes and see the operation of it, and so. The other thing I got some quotes for you guys today on, a forklift. Here's one, take a copy and pass one down. I got two different quotes here today. One's for a Hall, which is a Toyota, from Hall, it's a Toyota, and then the other one is a Crown forklift. This was incorporated in our budget for this year. Excuse me. Getting a tickle in my throat. We demoed both of these. We demoed the Crown and the Toyota. They brought up, both of them brought up a unit. Both these are very, very similar in capacity and everything. They were rated as a 6,500 pound lift. The Toyota's got a 187 inch lift, which is 15 feet 6. And then the Crown has a 199 inch, which is 16.6. We wanted one to go that high. With the basket, we can still be at arm's reach and be able to service lights and heaters and the garage door, whatever, in our new facility. We got a 22-foot ceiling in there. So that's one idea we wanted to do, why we wanted to do this lift was to eliminate a man lift. Because we can get an OSHA-approved basket that straps onto that. If we want to go to the next higher one, we'd have to go another 4th stage, which is another, quite a bit more money, then it's another, of course, it'll lift quite a bit higher, but,
Because the lights are going to be up there, what, 20 feet or
probably, yeah.
at the most? Yeah, they're not going to be clear to the 20.
Because he's basically 16 foot, and you figure a 6-foot tall guy reaching, you're gonna be
Yeah.
Easily get,
right there anyway, real close to it.
you can paint the ceiling.
Yeah, sure could. I don't really want to, but we could. They both have pneumatic tires on them. Like the engines, the Toyota's got a 2.2 liter. The Crown has a 2.4, which is very, very similar. The one thing that's I noticed was quite a bit different was the warranty between the two. The warranty on the Crown is a standard 1 year unlimited hours. And then the one on the Toyota is a 12-month or 2,000 hours, whichever occurs first for your basic warranty. And then 36 months or 6,000 hours, whichever occurs first for your powertrain. So that's quite a little bit more coverage on there. In the quote for the Toyota, it has included two 33-pound LP tanks. These both are LP powered. On the Crown at the back, you're going to see under alternate options, that's got to be added into the total price yet. So the base price of the Crown was $58,957.60, and then you're going to have to add the $843.15, and then for the service manual, it'll be $325, and then they put filters, airs, engine on here, which I don't think is in the Toyota, but the Toyota has the manual and the propane tanks included in their price. The Toyota is $49,911, and they are quoting us at a 90 to 120 days delivery, and then the Crown is out 90 weeks. They say it could be less, but 90 weeks.
How many weeks?
90.
90.
So that's what, year and a half
90.
Almost 2
for the crown.
Almost 2 years, yeah.
Good grief.
Got a question for you. I mean, that's big ticket. I just went online looking at used ones. There's a lot of used one with low hours. When I say low hours, 300-400 hours, which is pretty low, I think, for anywhere from 25 to 35 grand. Should we look into the used market possibly for a low hours one to save 20 or 30,000? I know the warranty means something, but 20 or 30 grand would buy a lot of warranty. We're talking especially that far out of an up to 90 weeks. I mean, my
Yeah,
gosh.
the other one was 90 to 120 days, which,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you toss that crown quote anyway, that's already $10,000 higher. and
Right.
Doesn't
Yeah.
include everything.
I'm just thinking, before I vote on this, I'd like to see what the used market is. I generally don't like to buy used equipment, but
I'm not a big fan of that.
a forklift, I would if it was the right use, you know what I'm saying? If someone,
Well, and
I
this,
bought a Bobcat for a fourth of the cost used. It had 200 hours on it. I've had it 20 years. It's like brand new still.
if you can buy them right, I know when I was in Waterloo, we changed the Bobcats every year. We was on the rotation. We traded every year for $1,500.
Oh, well, yeah.
And there was
Yeah.
a waiting list on our Bobcats.
Oh, yeah.
But finding the right one, used one, in a reasonable location to even be able to go look at it and check it out is kind of hard to do. I mean, there's not a lot of them real close here without traveling.
No, I get that, yeah.
That's the downfall.
let's hold off on it.
Let me just do a little research and see
Yeah,
if
just
a
do a
good
little-
use,
yeah.
and if not, you know, we can, yeah, because I agree
I mean,
with Mike, though,
if
we
it's-
have
if
to look
it's-
at the
yeah.
whole quote.
If it's 90 days, that'll be here in plenty of time to,
We have some time for
We
the,
have some
on the
time.
90 days one, yes.
Yeah.
The other one,
and I think that's probably the route we would go if we go new is probably the Toyota,
Oh, yeah,
right?
I would agree
yeah,
with
I
that.
Consensus, yeah.
Toyota's got, according to the sales rep that come up, he said Dexter Axle runs them for years. He said they've got 30 to 40,000 hours on them. and
Oh,
never-
yeah.
Never opened the motor up on them. He said the only way that they're recognizable is by the Toyota emblem on the back.
Keep the oil
He
changed.
says they get run hard.
That's ridiculous hours.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that right there was valuable information to me, so. I'm not opposed to one if we can find something.
Yeah,
But, we'd found that roller, that was used,
Yeah.
right?
That was just pure luck. No, that was brand new.
but it was still,
Had-
It
a
was a leftover.
leftover.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, it was a deal,
It was a
though,
demo,
because we got more
Yeah, it had
options
hours
for
on
less
it.
money.
right, yeah, it had 20 hours on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was luck. Not to say it can't happen again.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to looking, I can have the guys look a little bit too.
We can help out on that.
We'd probably find one in Vegas or something. Go take a look at it.
I'll go get it in Vegas.
That'd be all right.
We could can we air freight it home? We're going to drive it home.
If it's in San Francisco, you can go. If it's in Vegas, I'll go. How's that sound?
I'll pass on Frisco.
I see top speed's 11 miles an hour. You can drive it home.
I drive home. I'd be an expert in it by the time I got it back, I guarantee you
If you
that.
see something, send it to me. We'll just have to make sure that the specs are there for what we need.
Right.
Yeah. Mainly the lift capacity and height.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How high do you need to go?
Ceiling's 22 foot,
22?
That's to the ceiling though. We don't have to go
so
that.
minimum 16 up to a little higher.
15 and a half, 16.
Yeah.
And then 6,500 pound. Dusty wants enough in case we got to pick a truck bed up,
Now, will it lift 6,500 to the full height, or does it? Okay.
which we wouldn't look at that.
I know. It's amazing. I've watched some of these forklifts. I've watched them lift boats. We'll take a boat that weighs 50, 60, 70,000 pounds, lift it 30 foot in the air and put it around. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'd drop that thing just
We-
like yesterday.
We did a tour of a gypsum mine and drywall factory up in Michigan. And them lifts was picking up these 12-foot drywall stacks, going up 20 feet,
That's thousands of pounds.
30 feet. It was like they stacked these things. I'm looking at, holy crap. And,
That's some serious power.
yeah.
I
There
don't
is
think,
big,
I don't
big
think there's
lifts.
anything to discuss.
But it was just, it's kind of scary.
Yeah. Good operators.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd have to be,
That was just sent out last week.
I mean, we sent the letter out on the poll, and so we'll have to see what happens on that and see if they,
I think,
Oh, on the light pole?
yeah. Well, well,
Yeah, depreciation on our 80-year-old lifespan
yes,
pole.
yeah,
yeah.
yep. Well,
no,
Yeah.
nope, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I just happened to catch that. And
And that was in the NDOT LPA one?
Yes.
I can have
It's
that,
at the, towards the end.
I can have that corrected.
Says to submit to Jan. It's not a big deal. It still make it to the auditor's office. I just thought it should have a
Okay.
correct name. They should know who the auditor is, so.
I normally catch that stuff.
I didn't understand any other, all I understood was the name was wrong.
The whole forklift people are calling you Ben Rhodes.
Yeah,
Well,
Ben
that is
Rhodes.
Ben Rhodes quoted it.
Oh, oh, he's the quote person quoting
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Oh, Ben Rhodes.
My mechanic, Ben over there, so I got Ben and
okay.
Dusty over there.
Oh, okay, all right,
So that
I
one's right.
forgot
okay.
Ben.
Yeah, because I had him working on that. Getting quotes on stuff is time consuming,
Sure it is.
and people aren't very responsive. I've never wanted to buy a piece of equipment or anything and have to hound someone. Normally, all you gotta do is show least bit of interest, and they used to never leave you alone. You scared to go to a dealer or car
Yeah.
lot or anything. Anymore, you gotta hound them. Oh, the tower, I did reach out to Adam and J&K, and he's getting me the updated price for the extra antenna on there, and I have not gotten that back yet.
That is-
So, just to let you know, I did do that and then trying to move forward with it, so.
Okay. Anything else? Anything for Ben? Good to go.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
thank you, guys.
You know, when that screw type one comes, I wanna take
Yeah,
a look
yeah, I'll
at
let
that.
y'all know. Yep.
Okay. Miscellaneous, anything else? Anyone?
See you, Ben. Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know,
I
I've
just
got,
got another email from Cheryl too
yeah,
about where to locate it, and that they don't recommend putting it right in, attached to a law enforcement office because people being,
Yeah.
scared of being arrested,
Yeah.
so they'll never come in for it.
right,
My concern was at the health department, not
Yeah.
closed hours. Was to keep somebody just walking up there and, oh, what's this? You know how they are now.
what if someone, and I know this is a long shot, but what if someone would tamper with those items, you know? And on top of that, too, I've got a love-hate with this whole idea. Drugs are illegal, and I'm all for saving lives. I mean, still feel horrible about the lady whose daughter took a pill that dropped her dead, you know, she came here. But it's like handing out in San Francisco, they hand out needles to people so they can shoot up their drugs safely. I mean, are we enabling people saying, well, I've got a get out of jail card free because I have this drug now that I can just take if I overdose? Are we actually facilitating drug use by offering the antidote immediately? You know what I'm saying? Is it, I see the benefit, but I also, are we enabling people by offering, you know, I don't know. I have mixed emotions about this. I'd like to just let me just go talk to her directly, and I'd like her honest opinion on
Yeah.
if we're enabling people.
What's the chance of somebody, like, say, tampering with it or using it?
That's
Or
what-
just walking off with it? And then we gotta, they say that they have the replacements, but how often, and what if somebody decides they don't have a drug problem, they just go pick this thing out of there, well, what is this, and shoot themselves up with it?
Yeah, I don't think it
What's the
harms
effect
them
of
by
that?
any means.
Cheryl did say it doesn't harm you.
Harm.
Yeah.
And apparently it doesn't make you high.
No, it
So
doesn't.
there's no street value on it.
No,
No,
okay.
no.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a danger, and I
That's a good question, but Cheryl said medically there's no.
Well, it's like drinking
Issue.
and driving. You don't drink and drive because you don't want to get pulled over and go to jail. Well, I can do drugs now because I got the Narcan. So if I overdose, I'll just, and I just,
Well, that'd be.
I can't,
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but Parkview EMTs, I can't remember the number, but distributed a huge amount
did they?
of Narcan, and all of the police departments carry it
Oh,
in their
yeah.
cars.
Yeah, they carry.
No, that's definitely a good product. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just the wholesale
Yeah.
handing it out of it. It's just, where are we going as a nation when we got to hand out antidotes to drugs as a common practice?
Well,
That's sad.
And I get what you're saying.
But Cheryl,
I
like,
understand your point.
It's
but
kind of
if you
an,
save somebody's life,
but are we saving their life or are we enabling them and then saving them? That's the question.
That's the word. The word is enable.
Yeah.
We do a lot of enabling nowadays.
I mean, you can't get a job if you're a heroin addict. So,
Okay, anything else?
but you're right, Mike. If it saves someone, I get it. It's just
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
love-hate relationship
yeah,
with
well,
that.
I get that. I understand.
The Charles Winus resolution.
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
I didn't know if you wanted to do a joint one. I think that must have been what
We did last-
Rachel found when she was looking at old examples to draw up was a joint one.
yeah, that's generally what we do.
Yeah,
We pass it, and then council passes it.
yeah, and they read it.
I read it and I would make a motion to approve the,
I don't know if
I'll
it's,
second whatever. he's
yeah,
making the motion for.
the document.
For Charlie
For
Winans.
Charlie, yeah. Yeah.
okay, we have a
Yeah,
motion.
yeah, interesting history, so.
And so Bob Wilder sent an obituary that had some more
Yeah, I saw
information
that.
in it. I mean, the council or you guys could add more of that if you wanted to. I didn't know how detailed you want to
I like
get
what that's
there.
written up
Okay.
right there.
We tried to hit the legal highlights.
Yeah.
You get-
Yes. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
Charlie was a colorful character.
Yeah, I never
Yeah.
met him,
I
but
didn't know.
Yeah.
he was Rotary Club president and had a pretty active life.
Well, and he was prosecutor and
Yeah,
then
I saw
county
that.
attorney and
Yeah. So, we had a
Motion?
motion and I made the motion to sign the document. Mike second.
A motion second. Comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, opposed to the same. Motion carries. Sign her up. Anything else? Anyone? That was the last thing on my list also, so you covered for me. Good job. Okay, then we are adjourned. Have a good day, everyone. Enjoy the sunshine.
you two.
This is beautiful.
Finally getting good weather.
About time. I gotta mow my damn grass.
I know, isn't that something?
There you are, ma'am.